Hey, it's Donny. We are backstage, Hollywood Casino Amphitheatre. Big show tonight with Prophets of Rage. Tom Morello, Be Real. Thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen.
It's a pleasure.
All right, so this has never happened in my life until just a couple of days ago, and this should tell you how much I enjoy you guys. I was rooting for a Cubs no-hitter because you were there, and wasn't Lesnar going through six when you guys
through
were there?
6 2/3.
And just as a baseball fan, I've never seen that in person, so I root for that kind of thing.
Well,
you know?
we appreciate that. As a St. Louis area person, I appreciate it. I know what that must mean for you to be able to do that.
And also you guys being 47 games out in front first, certainly helps soften that blow a little bit too. But we thank you very much for your time today. And I think the first question that I had is when was sort of the idea for Prophets of Rage? When did that kind of first start to form?
It was right in the beginning of the primary season where the media kept referring to the Trump and Sanders campaigns as raging against the machine. Mm-hmm. And I took great offense at that, and I thought that it's up to us to demonstrate what raging against the machine really means.
All right, so then how does it get started? Who are you talking to first?
I reached out to Tim and Brad to see what they thought of the idea of kind of forming something that it was very key that it not be an exercise in nostalgia. It had to be something that was built for 2016 and have meaning and purpose right now. And they were down with the idea, and we reached out to Chuck, we reached out to B and DJ Lord, and Prophets of Rage was born.
Now, B, when you get this phone call, what do you think? I'm guessing, this is just me, you're looking at your schedule going, I'm free, I see no reason why not.
I was looking at my schedule and say, I'm canceling this, that, and that. And no, I was super excited, I had heard about it, and I heard that Tom was going to call me through various connections I have through the world. And, fortunately, I actually got the call, and he told me the idea, and I was in from the minute it rang, and I knew it was his voice. I was like, "Oh yes, yes, Tom."
I was like, "Hey, can I borrow $40?" I thought you were calling about something else.
Only if you let me in the band.
No, it's got to be one thing to be in a band with your friends, with your cohorts and stuff. But I would think that it's a little different when you're bringing Chuck D in the mix, and when it's somebody that at one point or the other, still probably that you idolized.
Absolutely. I could say from my standpoint, and I'm sure Tom can say the same. We looked up to Chuck. This was he was from Public Enemy that inspired both our bands. So to be right there with him, I'm looking to the left, and Tom's right there. I'm looking to the right, and Chuck's right there. I'm like, this isn't real, but it is real, and it feels great, man.
In some ways, it's like the Avengers or the Justice League of rock and rap. Public Enemy is one of the greatest groups in the history of Western music.
Yes.
And were it not for Public Enemy and for Cypress Hill, who was hugely formative in the beginning days of Rage Against the Machine, Rage wouldn't have existed. Those were the two hip hop pillars of what we did. And so B actually appears in the very first Rage video for Killing in the Name. He's in it. And Chuck and Public Enemy was the first group to ever take Rage on tour. So we have a history that goes back decades, and have worked collaboratively from time to time, but now this is like a full immersion, and it's just been great, working with two of the greatest MCs, two of the greatest frontmen in hip hop, and then activating the 20 megaton power of Rage Against the Machine, and then rageifying the Cypress Hill and Public Enemy catalogs as well.
And that's to me is the best part, is you've got these two unbelievable MCs with two different styles over your unbelievable, the rhythm section of everything. It just goes together so well. Initially, was the idea to do new songs as well as do the Rage, Cypress, Public Enemy stuff?
We were just trying to figure it out originally. And honestly, it took some work. It wasn't like the first day we went, hallelujah. Each band, in order to be great, a band has to find its own chemistry, and that takes time. And it took time for us. First, because DJ Lord was part of it. Well, we've never played with a DJ before. How does that work? And a lot of when we were attempting to play some of the Public Enemy songs, they're these kind of sonic collages, which maybe don't lend themselves automatically to guitar, bass, and drums. Sure. And so how are we going to do that? And with the time, we rehearsed more for Prophets of Rage than I've ever rehearsed for any band that I've been in since high school.
Same here. It was, we took it very serious. As Tom said in the beginning, when we first got together, it's got to sound great. That's the first thing we got to do, is make it sound great, and then everything else comes after. And once we got our legs under us and we started feeling comfortable with it, I think it was maybe the fifth month in rehearsal and the last couple of weeks of it before we would actually play a show, we started really feeling, like comfortable. The chemistry was there. It's just feeling comfortable playing and then just dialing it in. And, after that, I think once we started getting that, I thought, we could see the potential for, those new songs coming, because what we have is very powerful. And I think once we, harness it and bottle it up and give it to the world, it's going to explode.
And there are new songs. I mean, we have an EP out called "The Party's Over," which contains "Prophets of Rage," which has a Public Enemy lyric, but is a brand new song.
Right.
"The Party's Over" is a new song. And but the thing that we've gotten to the point in these shows is it's seamless between the three bands' catalogs and between the new material. It feels like it's all Prophets of Rage. It's got every bit of the Rage Against the Machine fury, and it's got the like. You look at that. I mean, the set list is like it's brutal. I've been posting them the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Like it goes Prophets of Rage, Guerrilla Radio, Bomb Track, People of the Sun, Rock Superstar, How I Could Just Kill a Man, My Uzi Weighs a Ton, Fight the Power, and then there's 15 more.
Right.
Like it's pretty deep, and it's exciting as a fan of all those catalogs of music to be able to play them in a way that feels like it's very genuine and authentic.
Oh man, I mean, I remember loving those songs each as they came out.
Yeah.
And so when I saw them all in one place, I was like, man, I'm glad I don't have to work tomorrow. This is fantastic. Now, to get serious here for just a second, there's, we know why you guys are out. We know why Prophets of Rage are here, why they are in existence, why you guys are out to do this. There is a large contingent of America that believes that their voice does not matter. Yeah. That their vote does not matter, that them supporting a candidate doesn't matter. Either side, Trump side, Clinton side, whatever side. Sure. What do you say to these people who if we all just got all of those folks together and really did rise up, then the changes could start to happen. But what do you say to that apathetic group that is out there?
Sure. Well, I said that part of the reason why they're apathetic is because the way the system is structured, they're supposed to feel powerless. They're supposed to feel like the most political thing you can do is a hashtag. Or a tweet about something. The idea is to marginalize the population so the ruling class can do what they want to do with the world. Heaven forbid that we should be involved in making the decisions about our environment or about, from issues of economic inequality to police brutality, to this, that, and the other. So the first thing I would say is the reason you should know you're not powerless, because the way that the world has always changed is those people standing up for their rights in their place and time. When women got the right to vote, when lunch counters were desegregated, when the Berlin Wall fell, when apartheid was dismantled, it was not because the right president was in office. It was because it was people like who are watching this, people are going to be at the show tonight, they stood up in their kitchens and said, I've had enough. And they made a plan. They used their intellect and their power and their fists, sometimes a brick, sometimes a letter, that they used their creativity and their abilities to take a stand during their time. And that's what this is about. The message is a very simple one. The world is not going to change itself. That's up to you.
Absolutely. And also, too, and I don't know if it's me getting older, and me just being more crabby, I don't know, but I'll tell you, there's never been a time to me where you have to work so hard to find the real message, to find a true, straight ahead story that's not tilted to the left side or to the right side. You've got to work as hard as ever now to find the truth out there, or something close to it.
I'd suggest that that there's no such thing as a story that doesn't contain some political baggage. When you tell the news, what you say and what you leave out those are choices that you could describe as objective or as political choices. So that's why I think it's important to read. Like I read the front page of the New York Times, I read the front page of Fox News, I read the front page of the Workers Daily,
Right.
And then I take all that in and I figure out for myself what I think. But at the end of the day, while factual matters aside, you don't need to have a degree in X, Y, and Z to have a moral compass to know when something's not right.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is, I think that that there's an instinct of goodness in people that knows that right now things are disastrous, headed the wrong way, and the only caution I would say is I do vote, and I will continue to vote until Donald Trump takes the vote away from black people. But I worked for 2 years as a scheduling secretary for a United States senator, so I saw exactly how it works in the highest offices in the land. It's more corrupt than you think it is, you know. So I would caution that vote, please vote, but the Democratic and Republican parties do what they're paid to do, and that is to serve the people who own the country.
Well, and also, too, one thing that I don't think people realize is getting involved on the state level is way more important as well, I think, than people will give it credit for. But I don't want to keep you guys forever. I thank you so much for your time. And even though that this election season is winding up in November, Prophets of Rage, I would bet you, is going to continue on.
I guarantee it.
Yes.
And we do talk a lot of like politics in these interviews and stuff, but the first, B said, and we always talk about rehearsal, first and foremost, it has to be a devastating rock and roll show.
Right.
If you don't have that, you don't have anything. And we're bands who have played devastating rock and roll shows. We want this one to not just stand shoulder to shoulder with those, but to be a cumulative, alloy fist of these three bands and what we are in 2016.
Well, fantastic. Tom Morello, Be Real, Prophets of Rage, Hollywood Casino Amphitheatre. I'm Donny.
Death to false metal.